Welcome to Lesson 4, Part 2 in the 3Ps Digital Literacy Programme. This week we're learning about Google, and this episode is about using and sharing from Google Calendar. First, after accessing your Google account from Gmail, click on the grid in the upper right-hand corner. Then select Calendar, and you'll be taken to Google Calendar. Once you've reached the calendar page, look on the left side of the screen and you'll see where your calendars are. So if this is your first time using Google Calendar, you probably only see one for your name and birthdays and reminders. But if you have used Google Calendar before, you'll see the calendars that you have there. So for us, we already have one for the 3Ps workshops. But if you wanted to enter a new calendar, go to My Calendars, click on the triangle next to it, and you will see Create a New Calendar. So you can open that, and there's an option to enter name, different details of that. But one important thing to note is that you should tick the box saying Make this calendar public. This does not affect who can edit the calendar. That's permission settings, and that's down here, so you can, if you like, enter an email address of a person who you'd like to be able to make changes as well. But for Make this calendar public, all it does is affect who can see the calendar. So you'd want people to be able to see it so that they can know that an event is on and they can go to it. So that's important for when you share the calendar to your website. So just make sure that that's ticked. So once you're finished with writing in all the information, you click Create Calendar. But for now I'm going to cancel as we already have a calendar. So if you want to create events on your calendar, you can do it two ways. You can either go to the calendar that you want, click next to it and select Create Event on this calendar. But if you know the day, if you just want to say you know that it's this Friday and you want to add it, you can just click on the day itself and click Edit Events. And you'll come to the same page that you would have done if you had clicked on that left menu. So again, you can add different details, an event, location, time zone, all of these different things. This is a good moment to reflect on what sort of events you would want to put in your calendar. So one basic thing that's good to enter is the worship events. So this might seem to be obvious, but you might be having visitors who want to know this information, or people who don't come that often, or maybe someone knows about a certain type of event that usually happens at the parish but doesn't know that there's Vespers on Wednesday night. So make sure to enter in those sorts of events so that people can see them and use them. Some things to look at is you can select the event as being all day, but if you don't want that, you untick that box and you can then enter in different times. You can also make repeatable events where you select how often it repeats. There's options for daily, weekly, bi-weekly. That's when you'd look under here, for every 1 week, every 2 week, etc. And you can set that up so that you don't have to make the same event over and over again, which is time consuming and there's no reason for doing it. So once you've done that, you can also make sure to go to visibility. Either if you've had the default of the calendar set to public, as is true for this calendar, and as I said before, it's good to do that so that people can actually see your events. But if for some reason you haven't, click public so that this event at least will be public and they can see it. So once you've set up all the things that you want to set up on this page, click Save. But I'll discard it because again, we don't need that event. So once you've made your events and you're ready to share your calendar, go to this wheel over here, click on it, then click Settings underneath that menu and go to the Calendars tab. Scroll down to the calendar you want to add, which is this one for us, the 3Ps. Click on that one. Scroll down to embed this calendar. Now, there are some things that you want to customize before you post it. So click on Customize, the color, size, and other options. So this page allows you to do things to add a different title, to set a default view. Month is good, but if you have really packed weeks, you can do a week. You can also do an agenda, which shows what's on in the week. So that would look like this. But a month is generally easy to see. You can also choose things like the width and height. So this will add it immediately. So if you change it to, say you want it to be a perfect square, and you say 600 width by 600 height, and it'll appear with that. You can also change the time zone, and just to make sure that it accepts the right country. We're in Eastern time, so I'm changing that. And once you've changed all of your settings, go up to the top and click Update HTML, so that the link will change in accordance with the changes that you've just made. Then copy the text and then go to your website. Make sure that you're in the editing section and you're on the page that you want. So that would be the workshop ones for that one. And so what you do now is go again to the left hand side and click on App Market, which is the third one from the top. And once it opens, go to the search bar and enter in HTML iframe embed. Click Add to Site, and this little grey box will appear. And you can move it down to the area where you want the map to appear. You can also expand it to the size that you want. As you see, there's a box at the top right here that shows you how big the box actually is. So that's another way to see what a sort of preview of how big your map will appear in terms of the container. So we set it to be 600 by 600, so you can expand the container to be that size. So now it's approximately 600 by 600. So now you actually want to enter in the map. You click Enter Website Address. You click Code under what you want to add, and then you paste the text of the code into the box, and at the bottom you click Update, and then your calendar should appear. So, as you see, the calendar fits quite snugly inside it. You can expand that a little bit so that the calendar fits. And here's another time at which you can edit the size of it, the size of the calendar. Now what you could do is go back to the code and edit it from here again, the size, copy it, do all the things that we've just done. But a simpler way is to just directly edit the code. So a lot of the changes you'd have to make would be more complicated. So I would advise going back and starting the process over again if you're trying to do one of the more complicated edits. But If you simply want to change the site, it's very simple. All you do is go to the bottom of the code, and the bottom line ends with /iframe. You click into it. The third line above that says width, and then the width, and then height. So, say you decide that you actually want it to be wider than it actually is at the minute. So, say you want it to be 700 pixels across. So you go into the width part, and you click into it, and you see 700. Click update, and you'll see that it's gotten a bit wider. So because of that, again, you'd want to expand your container, and you'll see again that the pixel of the container size has expanded since you've expanded it. So once you're satisfied with how the calendar looks on the page, click Save at the top of your page, and then you have your new calendar. So, now that you've learned how to embed a calendar, we're going to use a similar process to use Google Maps and embed a map into your website. So please click on the next video to find out how to do this skill.